Hello everybody, my name is Mason Estes.
Hello everyone, my name is John Henry Cummins.
My name is Caden Khan.
And my name is Ben Hughes.
This is our PLP Clap Presentation.
So our project was creating a cultural center or sovereign space on campus for neglected Native students at the University of Denver.
To accomplish this goal, we followed the human design theory. So we started out with empathizing, and then we ideated, and then we prototyped, and then we tested.
Because we decided to use the human design theory to achieve this goal, the first step of which was to empathize. Lucky for us, the empathizing wasn't a very hard part of that process, as being an Indigenous student myself, as well as John here, and Ben and Katie being good friends to us and seeing what kind of having an inside perspective of the experience of Indigenous students at the University of Denver. To begin our process of empathizing, we do it every day between just being students and being around other Native students. But we were given the opportunity to bring Ben and Katie to a couple of the Native Student Alliance meetings so they can see the Native community that exists here at the university. Our next step was to talk with these Native students about the issues that they face at the University of Denver. They had a broad range of issues that we all took into account. We also see kind of the product of that being from the historical background of the discrimination against Indigenous students in higher education and in society in general. And John's going to talk about that a little bit more in our next slide. And talking about the modern reality that Indigenous students do go through living in the 21st century, pursuing a better education.
All right, so in order to recognize the problems, we have to go back in time, which is historical background. With that being said, the founder of DU, John Evans, was also the territorial governor at the time in 1864. And the same year that the University of Denver was established was the same year the Sand Creek Massacre happened. So with that said, John Evans was found perhaps guilty of supplying ammunition, the funding to raise the 3rd Militia under Colonel Shivington that massacred the Arapaho and the Cheyenne and forcibly removed them from their land. So it's kind of the foundation of how higher education and higher opportunities isn't designed for Native Americans.
To continue our point about what we're going to be working on, we want to get a couple more statistics and kind of build a greater understanding about the background and some, generate some more numbers that can kind of back up this point of the experiences and the discrimination that Native people face in higher education and in society in general.
So, according to the survey, 39% of Natives personally experienced insensitive or offensive comments, 35% experienced racial slurs, and then themselves or their families have experienced, 38% have experienced violence against them, 34% have experienced threats or non-sexual harassment against them, and then 23% have experienced sexual harassment.
So another chart that we found that also kind of visualizes the discrimination that Natives feel. So 33% of Natives felt discrimination in the process of being paid or promoted equally. 31% when applying for jobs, 29% when interacting with police, 23% when going to the doctor at a health clinic, 17% when trying to rent or buy housing, and then importantly for our situation at DU, 13% felt discrimination when applying to or attending college, and then 10% felt discrimination trying to vote or participate in politics.
This is our second to last kind of visual that we can make, talking about whether or not Indigenous people think that personal discrimination is worse than the institutional discrimination that they face. 41% of the Natives that were surveyed said that the discrimination that they face on an individual level is worse than that of an institutional one. And 39% of the Natives who were surveyed said that institutional racism and these institutions, the discrimination that they face through that is worse than that they see on a personal level. 60% said that both are equally bad, that personal and institutional discrimination is about equal. They answered that voluntarily.
And so with that said, there are two categories that perhaps Native Americans feel like they go through. The idea of two worlds. Number one is that in the black margin right here is representing of people who live on the reservation, and then the gray represents the urban Native Americans who live in perhaps Denver community, Seattle, Oregon, so forth. But all in general, 29% have faced racial discrimination with interacting with police, 39% for applying jobs, 33% for perhaps being paid or promoted, and 10% for trying to vote or participate. So the problem that we recognize right off the bat is the fact that there is a lack of support for Native American students on college campuses, and there's no safe place to express our traditions, our language, and also culture. And with that said, there's only a 9.3% graduation rate for Native Americans compared to 20.1% average graduation rate in the United States.
The next step in the human design process is to ideate. This is our kind of brainstorming phase where we have discovered a problem and we're trying to find a solution. So some of the ideas that we had were more community gatherings with other Native students, more cultural events to share with non-Native students, facilitating conversations, and this would be either on DU campus or in the Denver community at town halls and other things like that. And then our final idea was the cultural center.
So we did land on choosing the cultural center as the best idea that we came up with. However, that is really hard to prototype, and so while we couldn't do it ourselves, we did look at other campuses that have implemented Native centers. For example, Northern Arizona, Oregon, North Dakota, and Washington. And so we look at how they have done things well, how they have done things poorly, and how much all this costs to kind of create our own prototype.
So the next step in human design theory is to test, not test our prototype, but to kind of begin the early steps of what our cultural center would be. Our first step was to go talk to Vicki Eagle, head of Native American students here at the University of Denver. She was our main contact and our main point for telling us the basic things that we needed to know moving forward on the cultural center. She gave us contacts that we could talk to, basic estimates on what some of the stuff might look like that we could refine later on through our later conversations. The next person that she put us in touch with, and the person we want to get in touch with immediately after that conversation, was Blue Star Integrated Studios, an indigenous architecture company that would be the person that we would want to have kind of spearhead what this cultural center would be. We talked to them, and they gave us the early estimates on what the cost would be, depending on the size of the plots of land that we'd be able to provide. For the original area that we had thought about making this cultural center at would be behind the hospitality building, near kind of the parking garages. With that area in mind and giving them that estimate, they said it would be about $5.6 million to build, and it would take about 10 years to get all the construction and all the approval done. After that, we went and talked to Billy Stratton, the Associate Professor of English and Consultant on Native American Issues to the Chancellor. Billy was the one that we wanted to talk to about where on campus we could do a cultural center, because of course we wanted the hospitality building to start, but we needed to get input from him and maybe from the Chancellor about where this would end up being. He agreed with us that that would be the best plot of land. That area behind the hospitality center would be the best spot of land, that there would be nothing else removed, it could be built there. So he kind of assured us that that was a good place for it. After that, we talked to Dr. Chris Nelson of the Mortgage College of Education. She is one of the big advocates for Indigenous people on this campus, and we wanted to talk to her about how we would generate support within the community and within the Denver community for a cultural center, and to kind of build that message of why we need it so much, and so we can better articulate that through our institutions and through our communities. But because this was such a big project for us to do, we did kind of run out of time between emailing people and how long it would take them to email us back. People saying, oh, we're busy right now, can we talk to you later in the week? So we did kind of run out of time. Then again, our timeline was looking at being 10 years anyways. So we really wanted to make a plan for if we were going to keep pursuing this, which we hope to, what our next steps would be.
So the first step would be to find funding for the construction, because as Mason said, it would be around like $5 to $6 million for this. So we need a lot of funding that, like, not only do we need the funding, but preferably it come from a source that is not that is a Native or more Native supporting and inclusive groups.
Then the next step after that will be the final location approved by the school. And we do have some ideas, and through our conversations with Vicky, she has some ideas. But it's going to be difficult, as you can see just walking around campus how much construction is going on. DU is running out of space to put larger buildings.
Next, we want to work with Blue Stars Integrated Studios for the models that we would use and what this cultural center would actually tangibly look like, the features that it would have, and the services that it would provide.
And then also we need supporters on both on campus and also in the community, so thereby finding nonprofit organizations such as American Indian Center in Denver, Four Winds, Spirit of the Sun. Everybody's getting involved, and also get the Native American community involved with this project and full support and everything to create a foundation.
That is our clap presentation. Thank you so much. Effie, we love you.
Thank you.
This is gonna be awkward because I have to sign into my laptop.
We love you, Effie. Keep